And that's how I got the contact about the skill logic
Right.
from him, and it was through his friend. So I have around 11 years of experience, IT experience. I'm mainly into the test management process right now. So I have worked with different domains and different technologies here, and I've worked with a lot of applications, but basically it was more of a testing. I was from the testing background. So after 11 years of experience, since I'm handling a lot of projects and all, I thought let's go ahead and get this certified. And as Praveen mentioned that he got this contact, he was like, okay, why don't we get the PMP certified for it? And that's how we are into this training right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all about me, Bhupendra.
Yeah, very nice thought. That's exactly what we should be doing. I will share one link with all three of you once once as soon as I get a chance.
Mhm.
It's this is the data which is available in PMI. Now I think it's no more that United States is safe haven and India is or other way around, India's growing economy. It's nowhere like that. It's pretty much a globalized economy. What's happening today is we have seen around us how many people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are losing their job not because the economy is slowing down, because automation is happening, right? Because just to give you an example, what has recently happened is there is a manufacturer for Apple in China, Foxconn, I think. Now, this company had 110,000 employees. Suddenly, they eliminated 60,000 employees out of it. That is more than 50% cut. And it's not that they have reduced the production of iPhones. What they've done is they have hired robots to do the work which these people were doing. Now, one comforting thing for us is at the moment. One comforting thing for us is we can probably think about that saying that all these jobs which are going to robots or artificial intelligence is of blue collar jobs, not the white collar jobs. But not really. If you look into the industry trend, a lot of things are getting automated, and slowly the trend is going to move towards, um, you know, it, all the mundane tasks will keep getting automated. Will keep on moving to artificial intelligence. One thing which cannot be automated is projects, because projects is where you have a unique start and the end date, and you're coming up with a unique product or a service. Now, there is an estimation given by PMI saying that by today we have a gap. Today, the industry requires certain number of PMPs certified, and the number of jobs available for them is much higher than what we have, the number of PMPs that are available in the market, and this gap is widening. So that's why I personally think we should, PMP is one of the great certification which we should undertake. At the same point of time, we should not stop there. We need to keep on upskilling ourselves to ensure that we stay in demand in the market. All right, so give me a moment. Let me open content, and from there we will get started. So just a moment. All right. So welcome once again to this PMP session. This session is going to be spanned across in 12 days. Let's see. The number of days that we require depends entirely upon how much interactive session we are going to make. We might require entire 12 days, or we might require 10 or 11 days, depending upon how the pace is going to be structured. As I said earlier, we have sufficient time period to cover the entire content, and I would be sharing a lot of videos with you too. So how we structure the content is I show you a video to build some foundation. Then I repeat whatever was there in the video and repeat the entire content which we entire concept. And then again, somewhere during the training we would go into details of it. So all the content gets repeated primarily 3 times. With that, multiple times getting the same content getting repeated, what happens with that? It gets embedded into our mind. So this is going to be the structure of the entire training. PMP, Project Management Professional, is the entire meaning of PMP. It was started by PMI, which is Project Management Institute. PMI is founded in 1969. Now there is a lot of demand of PMI in the industry, a lot of demand of PMP in the industry. Why? One, this was started long ago. It was started in 1969. People who started this PMP, they are sitting in the board of directors of big companies. So whenever they ask that their project manager, whenever they give any kind of contracts, they ask their project managers to be PMP certified. So it has become an eligibility criteria. uh, would you get a job after becoming a PMP as a project manager? Not really. You get eligible, but then clearing the interview again depends upon your negotiation skills, upon your, how do you give interview? Depends upon a lot of other factors, but you get eligible. So that's very important. The clients as well, whenever the clients ask, whenever the clients give the contract, or even when the companies pitch for the contract, they mention that all our project managers are PMP certified. With that, what they're trying to do is they're trying to give the confidence to the client that your projects is in right hands. Our predictability of your project would be much higher than giving a project to some other company which doesn't have certified project managers. And even if the contract is signed, the clients look forward to it and they say that my project manager has to be a PMP certified. That is why there's huge demand. To get certified, you need to have 35 PDUs, which you will get through Skill Logic. Of course, we are not going to be covering the entire 35 hours in this training itself. So the training is going to be around 20 to 24 hours, uh, including the breaks. The remaining hours get covered through the mock exams that we have, right? Those mock exams give you the remaining hours to complete your 35 overall hours. However, as soon as the training is completed, you get your 35 PDU certificate. Um, to maintain the certification in 3 years time period, you need to accumulate 60 PDUs, right? Which is 20 PDUs every year. How do you accumulate? You can transfer the knowledge to your people. So let's say any organization, if you're giving any kind of seminar on project management, not necessarily PMP, on project management, if you're speaking to your colleagues, you're teaching them about the project management, you're teaching your team members about your project management, you can claim those number of hours as the PDUs. If you're a PMI member, there are a lot of webinars which happen. If you join those webinars, for each hour you get one PDU. If you upskill yourself, you do ITIL, Prince2, or any other courses which are slightly related to project management, you will earn PDUs by learning. So all the PMP says is either you spread the knowledge of project management or you absorb the knowledge of project management. You continue to upskill yourself or upskill somebody else. If you do that, you earn those 60 PDUs, right? Earn 60 PDUs, submit into the website, and then you have to pay a small fee over there, and that's how it gets renewed for next 3 years. If it expires, you need to give your exam once again. PMBOK is project management body of knowledge based on which the entire exam comes. Now, I strongly recommend you to become a PMI member so that you get your own personal copy of PMBOK. However, I don't recommend you to read any other book apart from the book which you're going to get from Skill Logic. I hope you have already got it. If you have not got it, you will get it in a short span of time. Just go through that book. That is sufficient. That is more than enough. Go through that book, go through this training, give mock exams, and that's sufficient. After that, before giving the exam, you can brush through the PMBOK. What is the other benefit of becoming a member of PMI? You get access to 24/7 library of project management books. Through PMI, you can volunteer for different projects, so you get exposure. You get to meet other project managers. There are a lot of other opportunities of meeting other project managers which come, so you expand your network. Those are the additional benefits of becoming a member of PMI. Plus your examination which happens, you can become a PMI member and give exam, or you might not want to become a PMI member and give the exam. In case you want to become a PMI member, there is a fees for PMI, but the overall fees which comes, including membership of PMI plus the exam fees, is slightly lower than the fee that you pay for exam directly if you don't become the PMI member. Why PMP? It increases your value in the industry. It increases your, it puts a lot of demand for your profile. Uh, it changes how others look at your ability. They understand that, okay, whatever you are saying, there is some rationale behind it. So you start speaking the jargons which are already understood in the industry. You understand the language of project management. You speak the same language. There's a lot of weightage in whatever you're proposing because it's backed by the industry standards. So that's a value of becoming a PMP. Eligibility criteria, I'm sure you pretty much cover this eligibility criteria. I would help you fill your application. So what I would do is I will send out application template to you in which you can, before submitting the application to PMI, just fill that application template and send it out to me for review so that I can let you know if there is any changes that you need to make. What you need to achieve to get to become eligible to write the PMP exam, you need to have a bachelor's degree, which you have. 35 hours contact hours, which you'll get from Skill Logic, 4,500 hours of leading and directing project management work. Now, it might sound slightly confusing if you have worked in a project environment, which you have. Shilpa has just mentioned that she is into testing, and Praveen, you also have mentioned that you have worked into data warehousing. So in both the situations when you worked in the project environment, whatever you have done in the project environment in different phases, which you're going to speak about, mention your experience and mention what was your role in that in the template which I'm going to send. I will help you refine it so that you can put that template, put that experience, code that experience in PMI, and even if it comes back for audit, it's just because it was by chance, not because of lack of information. Examination pattern, it is for 4 hours. It's pretty exhaustive exam. So exam is going to be for 4 hours. There will be 200 questions which you have to answer. Out of 200 questions, 25 questions are pre-test questions. So these are only coming to you for testing, for validating how do you answer. Depending upon your answer, it will come as scoring questions for the future participants. But at the moment, those are non-scoring questions. But you would not know which are those 25 questions. So you have to attempt all 200 thinking you're getting scored on them. Right? Grading is based on you don't get any pass percentage or anything of that sort. It's just pass or fail. Have you, if it says proficient, moderately proficient, you have cleared it. If it says below proficient, better luck next time, right? So these are the grades which they give. Always remember, attempt all the questions. There is no negative marking, right? And when you are attempting the question, generally remember the first option which you select is generally the right answer. Unless you have a compelling reason to change your answer, don't change your answer, because often the first option that you select is the right one. And attempt all the questions. Secondly, take at least one break during this 4 hours, because 4 hours is very exhaustive. It gets difficult. The mind tends to get shut down after a couple of hours, and you tend to miss out on the keywords. For example, if it's mentioned as not, no, never, in between somewhere in the sentence, and if you don't read those keywords, the entire meaning of the sentence is going to change, and then you will choose the wrong option, right? Take at least one break. You have sufficient time period. If you initially you will find 4 hours to be very less for 200 questions, but if you have attempted 5 or 6 mock exams, you will be okay with it. You won't find any trouble with that, right? So take at least one break, and also we are humans, right? So we need bio break. Uh, just take one break, go out and come back, and then be fresh, and then take the remaining part of the exam. Manage your time very well. Generally, out of 200 questions, 100 questions will be very straightforward, and 100 questions out of that would be meant to waste your time so that you spend more time on that. This is how the examination pattern is. From initiating and closing, these are very straightforward questions. These are the process groups. So the process that we have of project management, it is completely aligned to the cycle of Deming, which is PDCA. If I have to travel from here to, let's say, any place, if I have to travel from California to Las Vegas by road, I first will plan my journey. I will plan my journey, where I'm going to take the break, how fast am I going to go, from where am I going to refuel my car. All of those things I will plan. The date which I'm going to travel, the time which I'm going to travel, I'm going to plan it. After planning, before even planning, as somebody initiates that, okay, let's go on holiday, right? So somebody initiates, they think we need to go on holiday. They initiate, why do they need to go on holiday? What is the value? what will happen if they don't go on holiday? Probably they need to unwind. They're already burnt out. So all those things are initiated by someone. Then you plan. After you plan, you execute. You start your car, you start traveling on the designated places wherever you thought you're going to take break. Take break. If you're going slow, you probably end up speeding up. If you're going faster, you can afford to take more breaks. So while executing, you monitor your progress and find out, as for the plan, are you going as for the plan, or you're going slow, you're going faster. Depending upon your execution, depending upon you checking and finding out, are you sticking to the plan or deviating from the plan you control. You don't want to go faster, you don't want to go slower. And eventually you reach your destination and you close it, right? That's pretty much what we do for any activity, which, any activity which has to be done the first time. If it's a repeated task, we tend to not plan for it. We tend to not monitor it too much. For example, every day going to office. Yes, we plan, but then we always stick to the same plan, and we don't follow a very structured approach towards it. But if we are doing it for the first time, a unique activity, pretty much a project, then we follow this flow. So this is the same flow which we have in PMP as well. We initiate a project, somebody has to initiate. Initiating is you envision that there is a product which you need to make, or there is a service which you need to deliver because of the changing market demand, and there's a new opportunity which has come up. You envision it, somebody envisions it, and they initiate it. In initiating, you see, what if we don't do this? What is the value which we are going to achieve by doing this work? What is the value which we are going to achieve? Why should we do this? Why why do we need to check? Why do we need to do this? Because we are investing some money into it, right? So we are investing some money, and in business, we don't invest money unless there is expected, uh, more value or more returns which you're going to generate by investing even a single penny. So I want to understand, in initiation stage, should I do it or not? Should I invest my money onto this job or not? If I don't invest, what would happen, right? So that is initiation. We invest the money in initiation stage. From initiation, we get 13% questions. In initiations, only two things are there. We prepare the project charter, in which we have the business justification, the goal, details, high-level milestones. This is high-level budget and high-level statement of work. This is what we have in initiation. Then we go ahead and plan for it. So we plan for a lot of things. We plan for how much time do we need to take, how much of the budget do we need to have, right? So even if you are traveling, let's say from California to Las Vegas, you need to understand, would you be able to carry your card, or you need cash to refuel? How much cash do you need? How much of money do you need to have with yourself so that you can enjoy that entire vacation? That bank balance has to be there. Here as well, we plan for time, cost, scope. What is in scope? What is out of scope? We are going to Las Vegas, or we're going to go across anywhere else in Nevada, just in Las Vegas, or we're going to roam around in other places as well. So we decide the out of scope as well. We plan for, what are the things that we plan for? Let me just mention it over here. Give me a second. Yeah, we plan for these activities. The way I remember this is, let me just write it down, then I will mention it. Right. The way I remember this is TCS, which is the company in India. TCS is headquartered in Costa Rica Park. This is the pneumatic which I've built to remember all the knowledge areas which I need to manage, all the areas which I need to manage uh, when I'm planning for my project. The full form of this is, T is the time, right? I need to manage the time. I need to manage the cost. I need to manage the scope. TCS is also called as the iron triangle. So this is the iron triangle that we have. That is T, C, and S. T is time, C is cost, and S is scope. Now, why do we call it as the iron triangle, or project triple constraint? Imagine if you get additional scope from the client. If you get additional scope from the client, you need additional time and additional time or additional cost or both. If you don't get, what will happen? You won't be able to complete the work on time. So if you change one angle, other two angles has to be changed. Otherwise, you might compromise on quality, which is sitting in between, right? The quality will get compromised. So that's the iron triangle that we have. I is integrate all these together. By changing scope, you need to change time, you need to change costs, you need to change your, you might need to add additional headcount, so your HR gets changed. All that is one change needs to get integrated into multiple documents. S is stakeholders. Our stakeholders, there are three stakeholders that we have. One is the people who are investing in your project, the client, your project board, the people who are giving you the funds to do the project. Very important stakeholder, right? That's what we manage. Second I is invented. My people who are going to work and get the work completed, who are going to develop the product or the service. Inventors, right? That's the second stakeholders. Who's going to use my product, right? So impacted, the people who are going to be impacted with my product. That is my third stakeholder. We plan for all these three stakeholders. Somebody has to do the work and get the work done. That is my HR, human resource. So I need to manage my team. That comes under HR. Quality, what am I delivering to the client? I need to deliver what the client asked for. Nothing more, nothing less. I am going to deliver exactly what the client asked me to deliver, right? C is communication. How do I manage my people? How do I manage my stakeholder? By communicating to them. I manage any project that we do is prone to failure. It can fail. So we have risk that needs to be managed. Risk can be positive. Risk can be negative. Risk is any uncertain event which has a potential of impacting my project, whether positively or negatively, doesn't matter. Any unambiguous or anything which has not happened but has a potential of impacting my project in a positive or negative manner, that's a risk. And the last one, I might not be an expert in delivering the entire product to the expert. I'm only expert in portion of the work. The remaining part, I want to get it developed from some other organization. So I need to sign a contract with third-party organization to deliver the work for me, right? So that is procurement. These are pretty much the knowledge areas for which we plan. Apart from this, we also plan for changes. If there is any change which is initiated by any of the stakeholder, whether my team member, whether by the project manager himself or herself, or by anyone else, right? So change is inevitable. Whenever the change is initiated, how do we manage the change? So that's another one. We plan for all of these. Once planned, we get the approval, and once approved, we execute it. After executing, while executing, we monitor if you're on track or not. If not on track, we raise the concern. We go back to the project board and take appropriate approvals to increase our budget or to increase the timeline, whatever the case might be. That is controlling, right? And then eventually we deliver the product or the service to the client. They check, they validate if it is meeting the acceptance criteria which they have laid down initially, and the project is closed. When we are closing the project, we do three things: administrative closure, legal closure, and financial closure. Release all the payments, that is financial closure. Legal closure is if you have any contracts open, close those contracts so that you are legally safe. Administrative closure is the people that you have taken in your project, release them. They can work on some other project now, right? So this is the entire process groups. These are called as the process groups that we manage in a project. The examination questions come 13% from initiation, 8% from closing, 24% from planning, executing 30%, and monitoring and controlling 25%. Initiating and closing are very straightforward. So this 21% should be given. It should be very easy for you to get it. Pass percentage. Now PMI has not told what is the pass percentage for PMP exam, but it is assumed by all the industry standards, by the people who have given the exam and by us who are teaching it, we assume that it is 61% is the pass percentage. Now remaining is only 41% that you need to accumulate, right, to clear your exam. This 13 plus 8% should be very straightforward. You should not miss out on this one because these are very straightforward. All right. So now, before we get started with the project management framework, let's take around 20 minutes break, and let me check what's the time here, and then we'll take the break. Give me a second. Yeah, let's take 30 minutes break. Let's get back after 30 minutes, and then we shall move towards the last session of the day.
All right, Bhupendra.
All right. See you after 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back.
Hey,
Praveen,
Bhupendra.
yeah,
Sure.
hi. Praveen is also here?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. All right,
yeah, yes. Yeah.
all right, so welcome back. Let's get started towards the last session of the day. So we're going to talk about the framework. We already had a detailed discussion about the framework, but then let's repeat it once again. Now, in project management, when we talk about project management, we can divide this term into two, term into two words. One is project, one is management. What is a project? Project is a temporary endeavor taken to create a unique product, service, or result. Now, project, it gets difficult for people to define a project. Project is something which is temporary in nature, in a way that it has a definite start date and a definite end date. Lot of times in companies we call it as a project where for some other company it has been outsourced, the operations is outsourced to another company, and we call that as a project. That's not a project, that is day-to-day operations. Project will always have a definite start date and the end date, right? And you're always creating a unique product or a service. If you're doing the same work day in, day out for a company, that becomes operations, right? For example, let's say if iPhone wants to come up with a new product in the market, today they have iPhone 6, 6S, they want to come up with, let's say, iPhone 8. They would need to initiate a project for that. There will be two projects. One is for hardware, one is for software, and third one probably is going to be for integration of both of them together. Uh, they will have a unique start date. They will have a definite start date and the end date. And the product that they're coming up with was never existing earlier, right? Similarly, in a service environment, if we have to change the way the product is working or operations is working, any change that we initiate, this thing was not existing earlier, that would be a project. If we are there in a company and working on a MI, major incident, which is, day in, day out, we're working on different major incidents. We are working in operations. We are working in an environment where we are producing the same product again and again. That becomes operations. Second part is management, ensuring that the project is successfully delivered, ensuring that the chance of success, I would not say successfully delivered, I would say chance of success is increased by going through a series of defined framework steps and procedures. That is called as the management. So that is the definition of a project management. What is the value which PMI adds to you? PMI helps the organization to increase the chance of success for a project. And at the same point of time, it safeguards you as a project manager. It safeguards you from getting the entire blame on your head if the project fails. Now, always remember, when you're in project environment, not always your project will be successful. No matter what you do, some of your projects will fail. I don't want you to go ahead and take the blame on your head, or that would have been very bad situation if you have to take the blame on your head because of the decisions that you take. Your decisions, there has to be a project board which is party to your decisions. Of course, you are there to take decisions, but with complete transparency, if you inform the project board and they are party to it, the blame will not come on you. Let me take an example here. So sometime back, there's a person who is very close to me. He's known to me. He's working as a CIO in he was working as CIO in one of the companies in Dubai. In construction company now, these construction companies will not have the IT department as very big. They will probably have maximum 100, 120 people in that IT department. He was a CIO of that company. Now he initiated certain projects to create procedures, to create processes for the IT department, and he created certain projects to ensure that their IT becomes much more efficient. Now the projects which was initiated, it's not necessary that's going to deliver the intended value, right? Unfortunately, one of his project failed. Problem was he did not document a lot of things. The documentation, he did not pay attention towards the documentation. And eventually the blame came on him. He lost his job. The company did not pay him his dues because it got settled the way that company said, I will not file a case against you. You don't have to pay anything to me. I will not pay anything to you. That's how it was settled. Now, any other company which wants to offer a job to him, they call for reference check, and this company gives negative feedback saying that because of him, we lost some money. That is very bad situation to be in. We don't want to be in that situation. That is why normally a lot of people say that PMP focuses a lot on documentation, a lot on preparing documents and maintaining records. Well, it's for us. It's for our own safety. It's for our own safeguard, to safeguard our own interest. Imagine something going wrong with the client. Client is on you and saying that you are not delivering this. If you maintain records, if it goes to court, you are safe, your company is safe because the records are maintained, because the documentation is maintained. The client has signed those contracts. Imagine if your company has a dispute with you. Again, project board is party to it. In those situations, you need certain documentation to safeguard your own interest. At times, we don't value those documentation, but it is very important. That's where the planning stage becomes very, very, very crucial, right? Program and the portfolio club all the similar looking projects together. That makes a program. When you have combined all the similar looking projects together to achieve any strategic benefit, that becomes a program, and combining all the programs together to achieve some strategic benefit, that becomes a portfolio. For example, the company might have a portfolio of real estate, then computers, then mobile phones. That's their portfolio. Programs would be 4 or 5 projects working together on .NET or Java. Combining them together, I can share the resources now. So that becomes a program, right? So that's the portfolio is at a very high level, program at the second level, and the last granular level is the projects. Project management, we have spoken about it. So there are different constraints within which the project works. These constraints are called as the scope, quality, schedule, budget, resources, and risk. So in short, if I have to put it, always remember, this is again from the exam point of view also might come, this is called as the iron triangle or project triple constraint, right? So from the exam point of view, they might ask, what is project triple constraint? It is TCS or CTS, whichever company you want to remember as. So it is time, cost, and scope. Within this iron triangle, you have a circle of quality and inverted triangle of risk, right? So these are the two things within this circle, within this triangle. Why do we call this as iron triangle, hard triangle, triple constraint? Because change one parameter, other 2 parameters has to change. If you don't change it, within this triangle, you have a circle of quality which will get squeezed, the internal inverted triangle of risk which will get squeezed, and the quality will suffer, risk will increase, right? So that's what happens if you don't change the other 2 parameters as well. Okay, project versus operations. Project has a definite start date and the end date. And when we are doing the project, we are coming up with a unique product or a service, whereas operations, it has a definite start date. Funds are required for operations. People are required for operations, which is similar to project, but it doesn't have a definite end date. You keep on doing the same work again and again, and it eventually becomes mundane task. Role of a project management office is works at a program level, which which is created to support the project. So they are supportive, they control the projects, they are very directive in nature, supportive in a sense that if a project requires any additional resources, they approach the PMO. If the resource is on leave, if the resource is left, to mitigate the risk, the PMO is created, right? So that's the function of a PMO, project management office. Different type of organizations. Now let's talk about different type of organizations that we can have in our company. There are primarily, I'm sure you have shifted companies. In some companies, you would have seen people reporting to you as a project manager, or when you were not a project manager, let's say you were a developer or a tester, you might be reporting to a project manager. And at times you might be working in a company where you were reporting to a quality manager or a functional manager, maybe development manager or a design manager, when you were reporting to these kind of managers, and you were not reporting to the project manager. Project manager was mere coordinator, right? So in certain situations, in certain companies, people don't report to project manager. In certain companies, people report to project manager. In certain companies, it is a situation where it is department to department. Some departments, they have project manager, people reporting to him. Certain departments, they don't have project manager, people reporting to project managers. So there are different type of organizations: functional, projectized, matrix, and composite. Exam perspective, you need to be aware of what these organizations are. From exam perspective, the definition or the peculiarity that is a problem with these type of organizations might come. Functional organization is the organization where people report to the project, where people report to the functional manager, not the project manager. Project manager is a mere coordinator here. So he coordinates, he ensures that the project is completed. Peculiarity now. Peculiarity or the problem in these type of organizations is, now if you don't have people reporting into you, what would happen? The authority would be low. People would not listen to you probably because you don't have any authority over them, right? That's a problem with functional manager, limited authority, limited powers. Then let's talk about the projectized organization. Projectized organization, all the functional managers, people might report to the functional manager and the functional manager report to the project manager, or people directly report to the project manager. So people reporting directly to project manager shares a very high, uh, uh, responsibility, and at the same point of time, he has got very high power with himself, because people report to him, so he can fire them, he can, handle their yearly appraisals, and people are now scared about him. So he has got very high powers. Problem. What is the problem? What is the peculiarity in projectized environment? Imagine yourself reporting only to a project manager. What would happen? After the project is done, you go on to bench. You don't report to anybody, right? So you go on bench. Now people don't know, they have no home. They don't know whom to report to, what to do. So they feel disconnected. That's a problem with the projectized environment. Because of these two, they came up with the matrix environment. Matrix is a company where people report to two different bosses. They report to project manager and they report to the functional manager as well. Now, in that situation, when it's a matrix environment, what would happen with that? What the problem with that? Yeah, the functional manager shares great powers similar to the project manager, but people, won't they be confused? I'm reporting to two people. I'm reporting to two managers, functional manager and the project manager. I'm completely confused. I don't know what to do, right? Whom I should answer to. So that's a problem with the matrix environment. Composite is where it is inside a company. You will see certain departments which are which have a projectized environment, certain departments which have a functional environment, certain departments which have a matrix environment. So it's a composite is left up to the business unit. The way they want to structure, they go and structure. That is a composite structure.
So, Bhupendra,
Yeah.
so what is this weak matrix and balanced matrix and strong matrix then?
Right. So balance matrix is where people report to functional manager and the project manager both. Weak
Yeah.
matrix, they report to the functional manager, but project manager has a say into it, has a say into their appraisal. They don't directly report to it, but during the appraisal, project manager sits along with the functional manager. They only have one boss, but project manager sits with the functional manager for the reporting. He has limited powers in that situation in the weak matrix. In the other way around, in the strong matrix, people report to the project manager, but the functional manager has a say into the appraisal cycle. So that's what happens now. In the balanced one, they report to both. They report to two bosses. Weak, they report to functional manager, but project manager has a say into it. Strong, they report to project manager, but functional manager has say into their appraisal.
Okay, so basically this is related to the appraisal process and stuff.
Yeah, it reports. It correlates with the reporting structure and the power of the project manager or the functional manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything else other than that?
No, these are the organizations that we can have.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, so now before we move forward, let me introduce you to a couple of concepts. These concepts are about, the projects, our projects, and how our projects can get impacted. Imagine yourself to be in a healthcare industry, right? So if you're in a healthcare industry and you're working on a project, on a drug, you are trying to make a medicine, you're trying to make a drug, a medicine, which will help cure cancer. And you're working in, let's say, Asian country, one of the Asian country. Suddenly one fine day, due to political environment, the drug which you were using, the compound that you were using, or the salt that you were using got banned in that particular region. Now, you cannot do your project over there. Even though it was cheaper to do it over there, you cannot do it over there because the drug itself, the compound that you were using got banned over there. If you have to continue your project, you have to shift either to EMEA or United States, or you have to probably eliminate that compound and redo the project and see if there is any other alternate, right? That is an environmental factor which can influence your project. Another example would be wherever you're doing your project, the taxation strategies changes. If the certain places the taxation is very high, certain places the taxation is low. Even in the United States, the taxation in Texas is around 20% lesser than the taxes which the companies pay in California or any other place. That's why today the companies are shifting, a lot of companies are shifting their base from California to Texas, right? So this is the environmental factor where your budget is getting impacted, where your project itself is getting impacted because of your environmental factor. Another example, let's say in your organization, when you're doing your project, you could have done the project, the cheapest way of doing the project would probably have been do the project in the Philippines. Instead of that, your company says that no, you cannot do your project out of just one location because of business continuity planning. They have a policy of business continuity planning. Now you have to do your project from two locations, and that too from two different regions. You cannot do it from one, only from APJ or from EMEA or from United States. Now, the cheaper location was Philippines. You are doing from Philippines, but at the same point of time, you are doing a portion of your project from United States, which has increased your budget. What is that? That is your enterprise, your company governing, because of your company policies, your project cost has increased. These are referred as the enterprise environmental factors, right? So these are called as the enterprise environmental factors. Any factor which influences any environmental or the company factor which influences your project is called as the enterprise environmental factor. So, and whenever we are doing a project, we need to take this into consideration. Whenever we are doing anything, whenever we're doing planning, whenever we're doing execution, whenever we are doing anything, whenever we are trying to prepare a document, whenever we're preparing a document, what happens? We need certain inputs. Let's say we are preparing a tea, right? If I have to go and prepare a tea, I need certain inputs, which is the tea powder, I need milk, I need water. These are some of the inputs which I need. I need the tools and techniques, which is the gas. I need the gas to be there. I need the utensil to be there. Those are tools and techniques. What is the output that I'm generating? The tea itself. Similarly, in a project, whenever we are doing, there are certain inputs which we use. There are certain tools and techniques which we would be using to prepare it, and eventually the output is whatever document that we're generating. Enterprise environmental factor is the common tool, sorry, it's a common input to whatever document that we are preparing. It's going to be a common input. Imagine you preparing a planning document that where should I be doing my project. Now, if you have a political environment which is not very stable, let's say the cheapest location would have been Afghanistan where you can do the project, but the political environment, the terrorist activities which happens over there is not very stable, right? So if you do your project over there, it's highly risky. That is why you don't want to do it over there. What is that? That's an environmental factor, right? So all these has to be considered, and that's why these are called as the common input. Do you need to remember all the inputs, tools, and techniques and output for any of the documents that we're going to talk about? Not really. This is not what comes in the examination. Examination is only practical approach, right? So they will give you a situation that you're in this situation as a project manager, what you should do. But for us to understand the rules and regulations, we need to understand these inputs, tools, and techniques and the output. For example, if you have to play soccer, right? You need to understand if you hit the ball outside the boundary, it's going to be offside. If you cannot hit your own goal, so you need to be aware of the rules and regulations. That is why we will be talking about the tools, techniques, and the outputs. But when you play the game, it is your strategy. Similarly, over here, when you actually go and do your project, you're well aware of the framework, you're well aware of the boundaries. Now, the strategy is left up to you. PMI will not give you any kind of strategy. Strategy is left up to you, right? In the examination, they will test you on your strategies as well. Next is the OPAs, which is Organizational Process Asset. Now, what is the OPA? OPA is, when we talk about the OPA, OPA is Organizational Process Asset is, imagine if you have to prepare any kind of documentation, if you have to prepare any document in your organization, let's say project management plan. Do you prepare it from scratch, or do you take a plan document which was created for a similar looking project in the past? We generally take the similar looking document which was created in the past for similar project, and then we modify it, right? We don't create it from scratch because it's too much of a task. That is organization's process asset. You are taking an asset of that organization and modifying it, right? Even when you are doing your project managers, when you were developers or testers, you might have been told by your project manager to document whatever lessons learned or the errors that were encountered. You were asked to update the issue log. All of that lessons learned document, issue log, daily log, these are termed as the organization's process asset. If these and the enterprise environmental factors becomes your common inputs to um, each and every document that we prepare, right? Uh, Next is the project life cycle. So project life cycle is the life cycle of a project itself. As we spoke earlier, the project first has to be initiated by someone. Then you plan for the project, right? You go and plan for the project. After planning, you execute it. While executing, you monitor and find out if I'm going as per the planning, or do I need to make any changes. Based on that, you control. You control your speed, you control your path, you control your pace. To control, you modify your plan documents. So planning, executing, and monitoring and controlling goes hand in hand. While monitoring and controlling, you feel that there is a requirement to change the plan document. Only after the plan document is approved, you would change your execution mechanism, right? So that's how it proceeds further. Now, I think we have spoken in detail about all the processes, all the process groups rather. What are the process group? Initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. And we have also spoken about the 10 knowledge areas that has to be managed in our projects. What are those 10 knowledge areas? TCS is headquartered in Costa Rica Park, which is time, cost, scope, integrate, stakeholder, communication, procurement, risk, quality, yeah, these are,
Human resources.
yeah, human resources, absolutely right, and human resources. These are the knowledge areas that we have to manage. Let me give you one video link now. This is a video in YouTube. So either you watch it today, or once we come into our training tomorrow, we can watch it tomorrow as well. So go and watch this video. What I want you to do is, when you're watching this video, this is a video about, now I want you to come on a table of a large project. From PMI perspective, the projects are going to be large, big project that you're handling, not the small projects that we're quite used to in IT environment. Let's come to the PMI ground. Let's understand what a project management is from PMI perspective. This video is a perfect example of how a project is handled from a PMI perspective. Go through this video, and when you're going through this video, note down what knowledge areas that you see are handled inside this video. Give me the examples also give me the examples of where do you see these knowledge areas getting applied. For example, if you see any risk, so we see that risk is one knowledge area. How did they plan for the risk? What risks they encountered? And risk could be known risk, unknown risk. How did they encounter that risk? What did they do about the risk? What did they do about quality? What did they do about human resource? What did they do about communication? What did they do about time, cost? Why the project was initiated, first of all? What was the need for the project? What was the business case for the project? All of those things I want you to note down on a piece of paper, and then we'll have a discussion on that. So give me just 1 minute. Let me search for that video, and then I will give you the link of the video. Right, so this is 49 minutes video. It's okay if you are able to watch it today or tomorrow before you come for the session, or we can watch this video together when we come tomorrow. Normally we watch it together with the participants, so it's okay if you are able to watch it today, or you can watch it tomorrow as well, no problem with that. So this is the link of the video, right? So we'll watch this video, come on the common platform of what project management is all about, and then we will have a short discussion about this video. All right?
Okay.
All right, so we are done for today, the content for today. Let's meet tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be same time, 7:30, 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. India time, or 7 a.m. India time would probably be around, I think it is 8:30. Yeah, 8:30 CST.
Okay. 9:30 EST.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right then. Take care. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So I
Sorry.
have a question for you,
Mhm.
Bhupender. So the Skill Logic, they sent out some documents. So you mentioned about PMBA, PMBOK, right?
PMBOK,
The
yes.
book. Yeah. So do we have anything specific saying that it's a PMBOK or it's a PMP syllabus documents?
No, PMBOK is the entire Bible. It's a Bible of project management given by PMI. Once you become the member of PMI, you will be able to download your own version of PMBOK from PMI directly. Now we won't be able to give you that PMBOK because it's a licensed version which you get directly from PMI, right? And you have to pay a
Okay.
fees to PMI for to get that. So once you become a PMI member, you would be able to download the PMI PMBOK. The thing is, it's a very huge book. It's around 500, 600 pages book. I don't want you to go through it. It's a huge book. From that book contains the
Okay.
entire content of from where the PMP exam comes. All that
Okay.
content is already shared to you by, or the synopsis of that content is shared to you by the book which has been given to you by Skill Logic. I want you to read only the Skill Logic book. Don't read Reatamoli. Don't read any other book. Just this book, and then give the mock exams wherever you have. If you have, after we go through this content, and once you are doing the revision, when you're giving the mock exam, at that point of time, if you have any questions, any doubts, any concerns, connect back with me. I will clarify that, but I want you to go through only the book which has been shared by Skill Logic, and then give the mock exams. That is how you prepare for the exam.
Okay. No, because the document, what I see, what they have shared is the PMP courseware material. So I think that's the one you're referring to,
Yes, yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay. 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 Because I thought we are supposed to refer PM book. So
No, no,
that's
no.
why I was looking for that document. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
All right.
PMBOK
So,
is you will get, yeah, PMBOK you will get on your own once you become the PMI member,
uh-huh,
and just brush
uh-huh.
through it later, not at this stage.
Okay. So other than that, one more question I have. You mentioned that there are around 200 questions, right?
Yeah,
So out of which 25 questions, when you give, you don't know what 25 questions they are.
yeah.
But those 25 questions still they count in your total marks what you get, or how is it?
So
How is
when
that accounted?
yeah, when you give the exam, it is 200
Uh-huh.
questions which will come in your exam. 25 questions are
Uh-huh.
non-scoring questions. So even if you attempt right
Okay.
or wrong, it doesn't matter for you. Those are non-scoring questions. But you don't know which are those 25 questions, so you have to think that you're going to be scored on
Uh-huh.
that because you would not be aware which are those 25 questions. Ideally, the
Okay. So
exam,
basically,
yeah,
uh-huh.
exam is
I
the
mean,
total points of exam is 175. In that, 61%
uh-huh.
is the pass marks.
Out of 175.
Yes.
Okay, so this 25 question has nothing, whether it's right or wrong, you don't know about it.
Yeah, you don't know about it.
Okay, okay. All right. Thanks, Bhupendra.
All right. You're most welcome, Shilpa, and thank you for joining it today. Thank you, Shilpa, and thank you,
Oh,
Praveen. See you both tomorrow.
all
Yeah,
right.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Gautam.
Take
Thanks.
care.
And have a good day, Bhupendra.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.